guys. It's another interesting episode of Bookish Reflections. This one I have tagged the sports edition. Yes, I am a book lover, but I also love sports. And so today I decided to talk about someone I have admired from afar, and I have seen his outstanding work in the world of football. He's rated as one of the greatest coaches in the world. And so my pick for this particular sports edition is Sir Alex Ferguson's autobiography. Everybody knows who Sir Alex, or I want to believe everybody knows who Sir Alex Ferguson is. But in case you do not know, Sir Alex Ferguson was the coach that took Manchester United to the greats of the greats of the greatest heights. And we still talk about his influence in football to today. And through him, the likes of the Ryan Giggs, the Ronaldos, and the Scholes were brought into the limelight. And we cannot forget those beautiful moments in football. So I wanted to understand the workings of his mind and what made him the success that he was and still is, because we have not been able to replicate that again in Manchester United. Hopefully the new coach will. And so I'm promising that you're going to enjoy this video, because I have with me two wonderful guests in the studio who will also share thoughts of what they felt when reading the book. I can tell you it is quite humorous and quite interesting too. So if you are just watching this channel for the first time, it's so nice to have you. Please just click on the like button and subscribe. And those of you who are coming again and again, thank you for believing in my content and my desire to discuss books and basically enjoy listening to the wise words of many authors. So like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notifications for when my videos come up. I'm sorry, last month I decided to just breathe a bit and I didn't do anything, but for now, Bookish Reflections will happen when it's supposed to happen. So uh, join me and my guest, Maiwa and Damilari, as we discuss this great man, Sir Alex Ferguson. See ya. Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon, Damilare. Good afternoon, Maiwa. Hope you have had a good day so far.
Yeah, so far,
Good
well,
afternoon, good afternoon, Manua. My day has been fine.
yeah, so far, I've had a good day, even though I've been indoors, but at least still a good day. Good
Oh,
afternoon,
okay.
everyone.
Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
Yeah, so I from the little chat we had yesterday, we're going to be talking about this wonderful master class of a coach, Sir Alex Ferguson, well reputable in the world as one of the best coaches ever. Took United to the point of glory. We saw the best of Manchester United under him. And one of the interests I had in picking up this book is I wanted to know the inner workings of his mind, the things that he liked to do, or what he did differently from other coaches. I mean, United was not just the biggest club in England at that time. There were other big clubs like Arsenal, there was Chelsea, there was Liverpool, but
I think that's where
United
the
just
top.
dominated the league. Yeah,
I said I think
I
that's
think
where the top four come from.
yes, that was basically the top four of England at that time. So I wanted to know
Yes.
what made Sir Alex Ferguson the success that he was and still is, because I don't think till now United have been able to replicate that level of success. So I'm going to start with Damilari. Damilari, what was your impression about Sir Alex Ferguson when you read the book?
All right. My impression about him is just he's a cultured man, very disciplined. His door is open to his players, his
Yeah.
subordinates, and
Mm-hmm.
it gives people chance to play their role, make your mistakes, be you, learn, make your mistakes, and we'll come back and now say, "Okay, this is where you actually made the mistake, and this is how you can get better." I just enjoy his leadership style. He had a very, very good leadership style.
Yeah. Thank you. I saw that too. So, Mayowa, what was your impression about him after reading the book?
Okay, well, the first I would like to mention is he was disciplined. Without discipline, success is almost not achievable. And then the fact that he keeps his door open. Just like Mr. Damleri mentioned, he keeps his door open. That means that he was approachable. Like a player is having issue, you almost can go to him, except for players who are shy. For example, Phil Neville. Phil Neville was a tad bit shy. He had to bring his brother in and all. But on the what's it called? Using a microscope, we could actually see that Ferguson had his door open. He was approachable. He was not a bossy type of sarcastic player. Mourinho was a bossy one, but at least Mourinho was a bit sarcastic and not easy. Then also the fact that he was ready to groom people, he was ready to groom players. It doesn't matter how old they were, you could still find a little bit of potential in them. A case was, well, if you remember Makeda, except that for some things that turned out very badly between them. But then on the on if we then the case of he was the one that groomed them. So the aspects of grooming people to success, I think, is one of the basic points of good leadership, and then also which characterizes the life of Ferguson. So basically, that's it.
Yeah, I totally agree on that. For me personally, I liked the fact that he was not just a coach. Like, I think he was a father figure to many. Especially when you read the class of '92, and he had a clear, defined way of leadership, such that he was able to carry everybody along. He met a lot of personalities along the way. I
Yeah.
was interested in his relationship with Wenger, his arch rival. I was interested in his relationship with Mourinho, and I wasn't disappointed. Like, he gave a chapter to two of them. So across board, I think his man management was really, really good. But there's something we cannot also rule out from Sir Alex Ferguson, and I think he too could have quite a temper. Don't you think so?
It's not
Yes, that's
unexpected,
true.
actually.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. Yes,
Uh,
that's true. Everybody has that level. You all have that
uh,
level of that temper, that anger.
yeah. But
I
don't you
think
think he
I
needed it
think
at some point?
yeah, it's not that
Yeah.
the temper wasn't that it was the bad. It was actually one of those um, disciplined and striving for success people really have. It's not like it was a bad one. At some point, it could be bad also when it's employed on the extreme. But if we take a look at it, it's one of those things that actually landed him into success. If he wasn't, if he didn't have that temper, controlled temper, let me use it, controlled temper,
Yeah.
he probably wouldn't have attained what he probably wouldn't have reached where he reached. So I think it's more of a controlled temper. If he didn't have it, we probably wouldn't be having the discussion.
Yeah, so that's very correct. Now, looking at when I was reading it, I told someone, I had a chat with someone in the course of the week, and I said, I see a lot of similarities between Sir Alex and the current manager, Eric Ten Hag, of which we have been corrected that it's not Eric Ten Hag. The H is, I can't even remember how the Dutch way they pronounce it it's like their H is a nasal sound. So, and it's not Eric, it's Eric. Eric Ten Hag. Yes, I had to learn that. It was even posted on the Manchester United app, the correct way to pronounce it. Okay, so by the way, I said I saw a lot of similarities. Recently, there was a publication in the international in the sports wave or in the sports world about Eric's notion to leadership or the way he goes about handling his players. And they talked about his ground rules. You don't get late for training, no alcohol. And then I remember, okay, yes, one of Eric's rules, one of it is that you eat from the chef in the canteen. You're
From
not
the
allowed to employ your
chef.
personal chefs anymore. And of course, strict diet, you know, and they will take your BMI every month to ensure you're in proper fitness. And then I remember there was
Yeah.
it took me back to Sir Alex. I can't remember the name of the player. He went into his house and saw a bowl of Skittles and chocolate and all this, when I said junks put together. And Sir Alex went off on the player, like, what is this? Why are you eating all of this? And so it made me realize that to be a real good coach or a real good manager, I think you have to take interest in practically every area in the life of your players just to ensure you get the best out of them. Do you think that was a secret to his success, his ability to monitor his players down to their houses, down to their families? Do you think that contributed to his success as a manager, Maiwa?
Yeah, I think it's very fine with me. If you have a child, like we said, I think we had a discussion yesterday, although, but we said he treated Manchester United like a family. All the players, he treated them like a family with the surname of Manchester United. So as a father, you can't just neglect a side of your child and then expect that okay, the other side is good, so you leave out the bad side, and then you now focus on the good side. It goes round. It goes round. You have to be circumspect. I don't know how to use the word, but you have
Yeah.
to. You don't stay in one area and then focus on the good area. So is monitoring their activities at home is actually a big part of the success. You don't drink. I think for Ferguson, it was you don't drink 2 days before a match or something like that. I can't really place it, but I'm sure that he had the rule about alcohol and then junks and then, for example, let me try and look at this. Anderson, it was one of those things that affected Anderson. At some point, it was, Brazilian lifestyle, junks and all, and then having to party and all. So it was one of those things that affected Anderson. But then, um, Ferguson seeing it beforehand and instructing players not to do the same is actually a way to go when it comes to. So monitoring the life of his players, I think it really helps. It's a great part of his success, not just on the pitch, but as
Yes, I
beyond the.
understand that. But do you think that the footballing world now has fallen way back in terms of doing that? Like, do you think managers, okay, we lost Damilare at some point, but I was asking about Sir Alex's ability to manage his players right down to their houses, in terms even to the diet that they eat, and I can't remember where I watched it. Somebody was talking about Sir Alex's person and said, look, he could smell your breath and tell you the drink you just drank, and he would know if you've gone partying. It's like he had his spies, at some point. And I was asking, like, did that really contribute much to the success that he had? Although nowadays, do you think coaches of now still employ such tactics? Because in Manchester United, I don't want to really start naming names of players. We have seen when players are, if you want to say, unruly, do what they like, and really has cost the club a lot in terms of bad publicity and all of that. So do you think that kind of management that Sir Alex Ferguson had, where he had real control over the dressing room and his players outside of the dressing room, do you think that culture has fallen has fallen badly and probably needs to be incorporated again? Because a lot of people were slagging off Eric Ten Hag's rule. They were like, what kind of rubbish is that? Blah, blah, blah. I was reading a lot on social media. And I was then wondering, we want to get the success of Sir Alex, but we don't want to do some of the things he did. Is it that he's now old school or some of those methodologies are no longer important? Damilare, what do you want to say to that? I think I've asked quite a number of questions in one. So
All right. Yeah. So as regards Eric and Alex philosophy and everything, I feel like Mr. Maiwa said, once there's no discipline in a team, you cannot generate success.
yeah.
So there has to be discipline. And thank God Sir Alex actually put in that discipline to extent that he knew them to their house and they knew what they are meant to do per time. And now, like you said, Eric's own. Eric is from every look of it is like if you cannot control like your dressing room, you can't control your players. I guess that might have happened to previous coaches in Manchester United. They had so many forces that were fighting against them, both the players and the board as well, that were fighting against them and the player against their control. But now with Eric, I feel to have a repetition of what happened with Sir Alex. So everybody
Yeah.
just needs to give him time, and I hope I answered the question because I could not
Yeah.
really hear you clearly. Your audio was bad on my end.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I get your point. I get your point. Now, another thing that Alex talked about in the book was the issue of authority as a manager, being able to stamp your authority on the team, and once you lose authority, you've basically lost the whole thing. So yes, I do get that. Now, another people, we cannot talk about Sir Alex without talking about his relationship with other managers such as the Mourinho's and the Wengers and all of that. He did mention quite a number of managers, even those from the championships when he met them at FA Cup challenges and all of that. How do you think? What was your impression about his relationship with other people who considered him serious rivals? And he actually talked about his psychological warfare. Like he could say something on the press and during his press briefings, and everybody is reading meanings into it. He talked about some of the things he does to psychologically basically I use the word torment his rivals. One of them is looking at his watch. United was known for late comebacks. You think you're winning, and then Fergie time happens, and they score the late winner, and all of that. So let's talk about his ability, how he was able to manage rivalry, how he was able to manage other managers who could not. Of course, not every manager liked him. So, what was your impression about that style of his? How he was able to relate with those people? I'll start with Maiwa.
Well, I really think that is no, it was, you know, like how do I put it? It was discreet. Let me use the word
Mm.
discreet in his relationship. At some points, I think he and Azuenga were not actually on the same page. Like they weren't in good terms. At another point, it was Mourinho. At another point, it was it Marcus? Was it Marcus? Yes, when Marcus was in Man City, and then at some point it was all this. At some point, I think Benitez also,
Yeah,
but
Rafael Benitez of Liverpool. There,
yeah,
yeah,
but the fact that they were rivals, he was able to manage it, and then he didn't allow the rivalry to escalate into will I say personal. Although he and Mastini had personal issues, at some point they had personal issues, but the ones that were before, the likes of Rafa Benitez, Mourinho, Azenwenga, I think he was able to quite manage the relationship very well. Not too friendly, not too the opposite of friendly. There are many opposites of friendly, of course. Not too wicked towards them, not too. It was about football, personal relationship differentiates itself from football relationship. But for other coaches who seem a bit personal, well, maybe. So I think he just was able to manage the relationship well. On the field, maybe not, but off the pitch, it was okay.
okay. Thank you very much. Yes, I can't but talk about Roy Keane. I love Roy Keane. Roy Keane is one of my favorites. And Damilare,
Really,
I don't. Yes, talking about leadership, Roy Keane and Sir Alex did not have a good end, so to speak, in terms of how they parted ways. And Roy Keane gave his own account of it. Alex also gave his own account of it. And one of the problems, even now, when Roy Keane is a sports pundit, is his way of attacking issues, or the way he presents issues. Roy Keane takes no prisoners. All right. So Roy Keane was basically a character that, when I say the way Sir Alex described him, when he enters the dressing room, he has an intimidating outlook. Like everybody just
Like it was a lot. It was a lot in the
for
dressing
the
room.
Lord. Now look at now. This is my question, Damilare. Um, People say you can't have two captains in a ship. Do you think that Roy Keane was becoming such a threat to Sir Alex's position from the way he described it? And do you think that Sir Alex felt that it was when he, I think that I can't remember, I'm trying to paraphrase, but I think Sir Alex talked about when a player becomes unruly and you're unable to control, somehow that player has to go because nobody is bigger than the club, nobody is bigger than the manager and all of that. So tell me, how did you see the Roy Keane Sir Alex relationship when you read it?
All right. So for me, let me start this way. There's a while playing football manager. I like to always refer to my time I played football manager. There was this saying that if you have any player that is going to take your dressing room from you, or as a leader, if you have a subordinate that is going to try to take power from you, you should just find the fastest means of letting the person go, unless you lose everybody under you. So I feel for Roy King, there is difference between leadership and lordship. He was coming to impose his lordship, and that way best fear in the heart of the players. And if he best fear, there's no way Alex will be able to motivate them. They'll feel once they motivate them, Rocky will always come from behind. Like this martial law now. That okay, they are doing it, don't worry, we'll meet you at the bar. That kind of way. And they have to be like, oh boy, you are taking it far, you are taking it out of it. You are going to destroy my dressing room. You'll destroy everything I've built. Rather than you going that way, I'd actually let you leave. I'll actually let you leave because Rocky was already becoming, how do I put it, see the poison in the scene. A poison in the scene. It was good and everything, but then it was becoming a poison. It was a team leader, yes, it was a leader, a core member of the team, but then his position was becoming a threat to Alex. So I guess, and how Alex dealt with it, sometimes you have to go blunt in some issues. If you try to deal with it, he spoke to Roy Keane about it several times, and he was like he was not listening. So I guess you have to go that extreme way and be like, guy, the time is up. And if you look at the way Roy Keane acted in other places he went to, he had issues as well. He had that same issue he had in Manchester United in those other places.
All right, thank you so much. Now we're going to round off with this. Now, one of the things that is being discussed and everybody is seeing in the football world is the issue of player power. And of course, in the time of Sir Alex, he tried as
Okay.
much as possible to bring, yeah, player power. There was a lot of player power. There's a lot of player power right now. You are looking at what is happening with CR7 in Manchester United and how, for me, I feel he's holding the club to ransom, and I love him so much. But at some point, when do you where do you draw the line? That kind of thing. So, how do you think Sir Alex, if he was a coach now, how do you think he would have managed this present Manchester United team? Everybody has slandered them for being too powerful, and that is why, as fans, we are excited that there is somebody in there who is going to stamp his foot down and say, "This is what I want. This is not what I want." So, I want to ask you, so in just a briefly 2 minutes, if Sir Alex was the coach in Manchester United now, how do you think he was going to deal with all of these issues that Manchester United is going through, especially in relation to player power? People were excited when Pogba left, when Lingard left, and all of that. But I still believe that there's still so much to be done in that dressing room. So tell me, how do you feel Sir Alex would have, after reading this book? Let me start with Mayowa. How do you think Sir Alex would have handled the current situation around Manchester United right now?
Well, was it one day that you and I were discussing on WhatsApp, and then we mentioned the fact that Ronaldo had more influence in Manchester United compared to the previous coach or the previous two coaches, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and
Yeah,
Rangnick.
now
Am I
Frank
correct?
Rock.
Yeah. Player power is good at some point when the player happens to be a leader. He actually can motivate the team. Take for example Gerrard. Gerrard 2005, we all know 2005 and how Gerrard, yes, Benitez did his lot, but at the same time, there was Gerrard in the team who was always putting his shoulders up and then telling everybody, let's get to this job, let's do this job right. Now, Ronaldo is not much of that type. As a matter of reality, Ronaldo is, I wouldn't say, without spoiling him, without soiling his image, I would say Ronaldo has a bit of ego. Wherever he goes, he wants everything to be about around him. He wants everything to be around him. That affected Manchester United last year. Now, bringing it to who is and bringing it to the present time, if Ferguson were around, I really think what happened to Roy Keane would have happened to Ronaldo. Yes, you have influence. Yes, we love you. Yes, all this, but to help the team is the thing that matters. You matter also, but the team, without the team, we can't have you. So to help the team, I really think Ferguson would have either put him in his place as a member of the team, not an associate coach, as a member of the team, or when his tantrums are actually going overboard, what happened to Roy Keane would probably have happened to him. And I think that should be done for this present Man U. If Ronaldo is desirous of leaving, if he wants to leave at all costs, of course, because of Manchester United, I mean, because of Champions League, no qualms, no hard feelings. Go get a team that is ready to sign you. Tell them to make a bid for you, they would let you go. I think Ferguson would have done that to sustain relationship and then also to manage the team.
To manage the team, yeah. Okay, so Damilare, you before we round off, um, how do you think, from what you have read, how do you think Sir Alex would have managed this present Manchester United team and all that has happened in the from last season? Last season was horrendous. All the leaks that kept coming out of the dressing room and the fights, and in fact, there was a report of two United players that actually went at it as in physical blows last season. So how do you think Sir Alex would have mentioned, would have handled this particular case? You have to unmute yourself. Yeah. So Damilare, how would Sir Alex have handled this situation? The current Manchester United squad, especially from last season and how it all went down.
Okay, so I feel the thing Alex Ferguson would have done would be to first unite the dressing room. Everything starts from the dressing room, the different factions that were there. And if you read what happened after last season, the different countries had their own factions. The Portuguese, the English guys, the big English senior boys, the junior English senior boys, and everything. So we would have looked for a way to first unite the team. Then when you now unite the team, whoever that still feels, oh, it's still bigger than his team, it tells them, go off, you are not needed. That is what I'm still saying about this Ronaldo issue that we're having right now. I feel it has come to it has made it known to everybody, to the club, to the world that does not play for money. Someone said you can't keep an unhappy person in a happy place and not expect him to destroy the happiness in the place. Very rare.
Yeah, that's
So I don't
what
know how
happened
Eric
last.
wants to make him happy and ensure he plays when his mind, his spirit, and his body is not there. I feel the best thing that Alex would have started with, if he cannot sell it, would have looked for how to loan him out and ensure the team is balanced and ensure the team has that spirit to go. Myra said something about good leader. If you look at Ronaldo, he's actually a good leader. Check the time Portugal played the Euro Cup, and how he motivated them. But I feel because of his personal thing, what he wants to gain, he feels that age is not on his side, and he still wants to play in the Champions League. So that is why it's because that what's causing this fracas right now. And I feel on my own end, Sir Alex Ferguson would have looked for the fastest and the quickest way to let him go. Even if it's going to be a loan, even if it's going to mean terminate his contract, at least go and just be you and not put the dressing room into trouble. So that's my thought.
And the other is if Ronaldo stays, there will always be issues.
Yeah,
We
I guess
can't
that I can hear you.
or we can't like Mr. Damlari said, you can't keep person in a happy place. Something will come up and then fights will come up and everybody will. If they don't turn it into physical, it will become malicious.
Yeah. So thank you guys. Even though we had network issues at some point, I've enjoyed the conversation. So we are wishing Man United success this season.
Between fourth and
Okay,
seventh.
with the current form,
Yeah.
I think I'll be optimistic for the team. Ronaldo stays or leave. I think Man U will make Champions League. Will make Champions
You
League
think?
spot. But without Ronaldo, I really think Man U should be able to come second. If we don't get the cup, if we don't get the Premier League cup trophy, then I think we should
We
be able
cannot
to
get
win a
Premier League
trophy,
Cup. We are not
possibly
getting
Europa,
Premier League.
possibly.
We are not getting what?
You said?
We are not getting Premier League Cup. Don't even we did you throw away Haaland?
I really think we can. Let's be optimistic.
All
Actually,
things
I
Yes.
are
really think we can.
possible.
With the
All
present
Hey.
things
form,
are
if
possible.
the coach ETH
Oh,
can no, no, no,
eh?
no. Let's be optimistic. Really,
Wait,
let's be
yes, for
optimistic.
Carabao
But I
Cup.
think
And
if
there's a
ETH
Carabao
can
now.
actually
Even
build,
here.
eh?
We are in a rebuilding phase. We can't
No, no.
get
On a
to the
serious
Premier
note,
League.
I think Man U can do well this season.
We
It's
can
starting
do
2 weeks
well,
time,
true.
and I really
Not
think I have
Premier League
hopes
Cup.
that
See,
yes.
if Ten Hag gets Premier League Cup, please build him a statue. I mean, if he gets this current squad to win the title, hey, we need to build him a statue at Old
Don't
Trafford.
underrate
But
him,
as
my
we are
son
right,
of man. Don't underrate him.
I'm not underrating him. Please wait. Please look at your front three and look at the front three of Spurs. Look at the front three of Liverpool and look at the front three of Man City. How now? Anyway, with God, all things are possible.
Leicester did it too. Leicester did it that year. Oh.
Leicester City, well,
Leicester City, yeah, Leicester, not Leicester, Leicester.
okay, don't say I didn't tell you. Me, I'm not keeping
Man,
my
you
hopes up.
can.
Oh.
Oh, let's
Even me,
hope. We can only
I,
keep our
I'm,
fingers crossed. But I
I'm
can tell
hoping for
you,
Carabao. If we get
at the end
Carabao
of
Cup,
this next season,
okay.
well, let's. I think I would rate them for the Premier League. I would rate that maybe 25%, maybe possibly 0.25 on probability 0.25. Then I'm not sure for the others, but I can say on probability for 0.25 is okay anyway.
Damilare says fourth or seventh. Okay. I personally, I will be glad if we win at least Carabao Cup. Or maybe we win Europa League. That's a that. But Premier League. That's a that. But Premier League. I will see you guys very soon when we get to talk again. It's been a pleasure. I hope that we get more books, especially things that will bring us together when it comes to Manchester United. I'm looking forward to. I'm still going to read other coaches. There's Arsene Wenger's book. I want to read that too. I'm also interested in seeing how he did with the Invincibles. 49 matches unbeaten. So I would like to read how his own thought process was. He's also considered one of the greats in world of football. Of course, I'm also interested in reading something about Mourinho. I don't think he has written an autobiography, but I'm basically interested. And what I try to pick from all of them is their leadership styles and what you and I, or what everyone can take from it and apply to our personal lives. So thank
Personal
you
life.
very much.
So thank you very much.
Okay,
I'll see
you're
you guys.
welcome. I really appreciate the
I'll see you
opportunity
guys.
to speak. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you for
Thank
the
you, Ma.
opportunity.
Thank you for the
Mr.
opportunity.
Mayowa,
Mr.
it's nice
Maiwa,
meeting you.
it's nice to meet you.
Mr.
All right. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye, thank you.